More than a year after a 43-year-old man from Vista died from a fentanyl overdose, the accused drug dealer has been arrested and faces a first-degree murder charge. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. CBS 8's Brian White sat down with Cameron Trask's father and sister to learn more about his tragic death.
I can't think about him too much, as you can imagine. But yeah, he's a good kid.
Father Kenny Trask holding back tears as he describes the kind of son Cameron was.
If I look back on him, he was like the perfect child that became addicted to drugs.
Cameron was a talented motorcycle racer in his younger days, and during a race when he was 18, he had an accident that broke both his legs, putting him in the hospital. This is when his family believes Cameron first became addicted to opioids.
Back in those days, the doctors were just writing prescription drugs but like crazy.
He struggled with addiction on and off throughout his life, but on February 12th of last year, the day he died, he seemed very healthy and clear-minded. Spent the morning with his dad at home in Vista before heading to Temecula for a family birthday party. His sister, Dana, recalls that night.
Was that where he passed? Was that the restaurant?
Yes, he got up to use the restroom and he was gone for, it got to feel like a while. And I went in there and I saw him on the floor in the stall.
They performed CPR until paramedics arrived to no avail, and even 2 doses of Narcan couldn't save him. Kenny remembers hearing the news.
What went through your mind when you received that call?
Disbelief. You can't believe you're hearing it.
After months of investigating, the Riverside County Sheriff's Department identified 52-year-old Kevin Bryant from Carlsbad as the person who sold Cameron the fentanyl. He was arrested last week at the San Ysidro Port of Entry and is being held on $1 million bail at the Bird Detention Center in Murrieta and is facing a first-degree murder charge.
If somebody knows they're selling drugs that can kill somebody in an instant, they need to put an end to it.
For Cameron's father, the pain is still fresh, but I asked him if he had the chance, what would he say to him?
I would thank him for being the son that he was to me.
If you could say one more thing to Cameron, what would you say?
Just that I love him. You were my best friend. And I miss you.
I'm Brian White for CBS 8.
Thanks, Brian. Working for you, we dug deeper into San Diego's fentanyl crisis. We looked at the neighborhoods that saw the highest number of overdoses and which age groups were most impacted. The data we obtained revealed just how far-reaching this crisis is, from children as young as 13 years old to those dying in homeless encampments and in city parks. For more information on this, head on over to CBS8.com to see just how this crisis has affected your neighborhood.
A Solana Beach woman convicted of murdering her stepfather after she says she found nude photos of herself on his computer was sentenced today in North County.
And for the first time, Jade Jenks accused her stepfather, Tom Merriman, of abusing her. As CBS 8's David Gottfredson reports, Merriman's family spoke before the judge handed down the sentence.
As Jade Jenks walked into court already convicted of murder, there was little doubt what her sentence would be. 25 years to life was mandatory for the drugging death of her stepfather, Tom Merriman. Prosecutors also say she suffocated the 64-year-old days after finding hundreds of nude photos of herself on his computer.
What's twisted is suffocating someone with a plastic bag over their head, watching them squirm as they gasp for air.
Before sentencing, Jenks told the court for the first time that she had been abused by Merriman.
Unfortunately, that influence manifested itself into appropriate touch, coercion, reckless behavior, and complete violation of what I now realize is years of psychological manipulation.
Jenks' father, Steve, spoke, saying his daughter was wrongly convicted.
I truly believe that an injustice has taken place. This case was not one on its merit. It was one based on an Oscar-winning performance by the DA.
Then it was time for victim impact statements.
She's a liar, and we all know it.
Terry Merriman had unanswered questions about how his brother was murdered and his body dumped underneath a pile of trash.
Did Tom struggle at any point, or was he too dosed? How much did he suffer in the hours he had a plastic bag over his head? Why did the killer treat my brother's body like trash?
He also addressed the naked photos.
I want the court to know my brother may have possessed inappropriate photos, which is wrong. But there was evidence to suggest the killer had little ethical or moral concerns with disseminating inappropriate photos of herself. In the killer's own words, Tom never acted inappropriately.
The victim's other brother, Patrick, was the last to speak.
May Jade Jenks find no peace in confinement, no rest in her hours, no false promise of forgiveness.
Now, you may have heard those were her family members saying, "I love you," as she left the courtroom. The defense is promising to file an appeal. At the Vista Courthouse, David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
Thank you, David. People are still snowed in Crestline, that's in the San Bernardino Mountains tonight. They're pleading to be rescued. Supplies are quickly running out. This was the line for food outside a local market today, and a man was seen holding up that sign saying Open Highway 18. The area has gotten 5 to 8 feet of snow in recent storms, which is very unusual. First responders have been using snowcats to deliver emergency supplies and services. Meanwhile, this is what it looked like up north in Truckee over the weekend. This video shows crews attempting to clear mounds of snow in the area. Traffic was held on parts of Interstate 80 after multiple spinouts. The National Weather Service issued weather advisories and warned of, quote, very difficult to impossible travel conditions. Tonight, 3 men are in custody after Border Patrol agents say they entered the country illegally. Lifeguards at Ocean Beach say they got reports of people in the water needing help just before 6 this morning. The Coast Guard and lifeguards say they found the men under the pier with a jet ski and rescued them. They believe they tried using the jet ski to enter the country illegally.
500 streetlight surveillance cameras with license plate readers installed around the city. That's what the San Diego Police Department is proposing, and you have time to give your input before it happens. CBS 8's Anna Laurel was at the first of several meetings this week.
Today, the officer that led the meeting explained that the San Diego Police Department has 100 open detective positions. They're extremely short-staffed. So he says they rely on technology like the streetlight cameras to try and help them solve crimes. But the people at the meeting today say it's not that cut and dry, and they have questions.
How do you find that balance between public safety and privacy rights?
For and against is hard, but I will be against the indiscriminate implementation and use of surveillance technology.
This is the first of a series of community meetings to explain the city's proposal to install 500 new streetlight surveillance cameras, including license plate readers throughout the city to help fight crime. If you go, you can ask questions. People here ask a lot about the data the cameras collect.
Is there a certain amount of time where it's cut off and it's like, okay, you were using it in investigations, but now it's gone for too long and it has to be scrapped?
PD says data will get stored for 30 days in an Amazon government encrypted cloud. What's the process if someone wants to access it? Well, the city says it's not allowed to share, but people like Nancy Relaford, who used to handle surveillance for the UC San Diego Library, don't believe that.
Now, the police can say, well, we won't share data, but data gets out different ways.
She and others here say they're concerned about cameras tracking information in communities that they feel are already over-policed.
They're very powerful, and I also know that when you look, you don't just see what you're looking for, you see like everything that happened. There needs to be community oversight.
Back in 2020, the city shut down thousands of street cameras after fierce public pushback over privacy concerns. So now they're back at the drawing board to try to create something that can work for the most people.
I did feel like the process today was more of a two-way communication than I've seen around this issue.
Questions from these community meetings will go into a community impact report and ultimately go to City Council. Now, today's second meeting is going on right now until 8 o'clock tonight, and then there will be meetings all week long. We've put all the information that you need. If you'd like to go to one of the meetings, it's on CBS8.com. Out here in Otay Mesa, this is Anna Laurel for CBS 8.
Good to see that. Sounds like people feel like they're being heard.
An opportunity for people to make their voices heard and maybe create some changes.
Yeah, build some relationship with police too.